Okay, let's start this. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sachi Dhaliwal. I'm the marketing manager here at Perfect Portal. And thank you for taking the time and joining us for our webinar. I'll try to be quick and snappy. I know everyone is taking their time during lunch to join me. Today, I'm just going to speak about client communication and how our clients' behavior is changing and what firms must do to adapt to these changing behaviors. Before I start this, can all the individuals who are currently using Perfect Portal put their hand up, just so I can see how many we have here, so I can tailor the presentation accordingly? Perfect. Yep, that's great. So that's good percentage. You can put your hands down now. Great. So during today's presentation, I will talk about transparency regulations. I know they came in effect about almost a year ago. Time is flying. And a bit about digital era and how our client expectations have been changing, and what is customer experience and why is it important. Sometimes it's very hard to actually understand what exactly is customer experience. And then customer experience versus price and product, and where it fits, and how Perfect Portal can help you deliver a great customer experience. This is important for the client, some of the firms that are already using Perfect Portal, because not everyone is using it to its full potential, so it would be good for you to stay during that portion as well. So transparency regulations. We had inactive firms, the ones that didn't do anything, they were just working with their head down, waiting for SRA to introduce the rules, and still, waiting for other firms to take initiative to see if actually they were serious, but keep on doing what they were doing. When the SRA did their audit of the firms, they said about 34 firms still failed to show the transparency of their fees and services. Again, these are the firms that just want to do their work, but with the head down, rather than looking at what their customers are demanding, as well as the regulatory authorities. The transparency regulations only came in play because customers demanded it. It's not something that SRA just thought of it and just made sure everyone followed those rules. Again, it was something that was demanded by the end consumers. We had reactive firms. I know I had one of the poll questions in there if you had made changes to your website over the last year. A lot of firms did that, to be honest. A lot of our clients did that as well, is being reactive, being responsive. And then, some firms, when you looked at it in January of this year, they actually had coming soon on their website because they took their website down just so they didn't get in trouble from SRA or CLC. Again, reactive isn't bad, but at this point, they're already a little bit late in the game, but it is still better than doing nothing. A lot of the firms that did make changes to their website, they made them quickly. When we were reviewing some of the website ourselves, we saw that a lot of the firms, they added the pricing information, but they didn't actually do the research to see what their customers actually wanted. If you look at your website or your competitor's website, see which website is the easier for end consumer, again, consumer that doesn't really have much legal knowledge, to understand what the services actually provide and the price information. I looked at one website that it was pages and pages of information on price. Oh, if you do this and this, we'll charge you this. If you do this, we'll charge you extra this. Again, the end consumer, they'll probably get overwhelmed with all that information, and then they will go on and move on to the next available service, available firm that they can potentially go with. Again, look at your websites and make sure that the information is presentable in in a consumer-friendly language. The next type of firms are proactive. When the transparency regulations came in play, it didn't really faze them because they already are proactive. They already listen to their clientele, their consumers, their target market, and provide the services in a way that they would like. So there was we do have some really proactive firms using Perfect Portal, but again, they didn't have to worry about changing their websites, making sure that they're compliant to the SRA regulations because they were already there. They were already being proactive. Now they're already on the next best thing to make sure that they are always ahead of the game. Again, when you have authorities demanding you to do something, it's already a little bit late in the game, but it's still better to do something than nothing. So we are in the digital era. What does that mean? It means that consumers have a complete different journey than what they were used to. Our clients now expect the same level of communication and efficiency in every industry as they do in every industry that they interact with. So when you're no longer competing with other law firms, you're actually competing with other service providers. So you can, the service providers that can actually provide information quickly, in any time frame, and again at customers' fingertips. They want customers are now used to high quality service, personalized service across all platforms and communication channels. And not only that, but customers have found their voice. They're no longer afraid to speak out, and social media channels have enabled them to become heard across millions of globes. So this is, again, they don't necessarily, if they have a bad experience, they will speak out about it. So you have to be careful how you're treating your clients, all sizes of clients, whether there's something, they're doing something small at your firm versus a big transaction. And you want to make sure there's a consistent experience across the board. We know customer expectations have evolved. People expect information at their fingertips and 24/7. Well, how do you do that when traditional law firms are only open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5? And how do you become available online and at any time? People want to be able to interact with you, contact you, engage you, and make a decision without actually physically talking to you. So again, this is when having an online experience becomes very important. They don't necessarily want a sales pitch why they should choose you, but they want to come to that decision on their own. They want to be able to go to your website, find out the information that they need, and then have that decision on their own that they do want to select you, rather than fill out a form, wait for you to send them information or you to call them, and then you try to pitch why they should choose you. Again, they want to be able to look at your information online at their time and before choosing you. We live in an on-demand economy. With a few taps and swipe of our mobile devices, we can have what we want when we want it. We have Airbnb, Uber, Amazon, Netflix that are changing consumer behaviors and expectations faster than law firms can respond. I did ask earlier, there's about 60% of you that said that you have, that you have made changes to your website over this last year. But have a look at your website, on any mobile devices, especially mobile phones or tablet, to make sure your information is readable. And especially the important price information or the information that's quite tailored to the customer. I did see quite a few websites that are beautiful on desktop view, but as you can see, you're in B2C consumer market, and they are looking more for information on their mobile devices than actual desktop computers. So make sure, whatever it is that you're actually providing, that that information, whether it's communication or your quoting side or your pricing information online, that is actually available on their mobile devices. And this is what is driving customers to go online and receive any information that they can. So this here, according to the 2019 Legal Trends Report, firms that have achieved high growth over a sustained period of time have been able to do so for two critical factors: a focus on client experience and firm efficiency. Again, client experience isn't something brand new to this industry, but proactive firms already have been doing it, and now we just need to make sure everyone else is following that trend, because that's what's going to give you that competitive edge and make sure that you're always ahead of the game. I know a lot of people said they have discussed customer experience at their firms, which is fantastic, because again, that is quite important in today's market. So what is customer experience? It's a perception of how your company treats a customer and how that affects their behavior and build memories and feelings to drive their loyalty. And in other words, if they like you and continue to like you, they're going to do business with you and recommend you to the others. And again, customer experience is a result of every interaction a customer has with your business, from navigating your website to talking to your staff and receiving the service they bought from you. If you try calling your own line and pretend to be a customer, do a mystery shop at your own firm, see how you get treated every step of the way. When the first call gets answered, when you get transferred, again, it's always good to do a mystery shop. I know we do that ourselves as well. How do we handle different inquiries? It's very important to do that. Now, more than 50% of businesses have redirected their investment to customer experience innovations. I actually when I was at LegalX conference, I'm sure many of you know that conference is quite large for the legal industry. It was at the Excel in London. Right across from us, there was another conference going on which was about customer experience, and that quite generated my interest. And then what I saw was a big plane in part of the exhibition. So I asked someone what that entire expo was about. They said it was about customer experience, how airlines and airports deal with clients from entering one airport and exiting another. So every step of their journey, whether it's walking in the airport, checking their baggage in, waiting in line for their onboarding a flight, getting on a plane, getting off a plane, getting their luggage, and then exiting again to their destination. And same when they're coming back home. They're like, how can we enhance that experience? Because you want that repeat business. You want the clients to be flying, and it's not just flying to the same destination, but flying and traveling in general. So that was great to see that the entire expo with thousands and thousands of attendees was just focused on customer experience. And 89% of customers get frustrated because they need to repeat their issue multiple representatives. This is quite accurate for the legal industry as well. When we did our mystery shop, we tried calling, and you'll be shocked to hear how many times we were actually asked to repeat our name, let alone the nature of our business. And we were passed on quite a few times saying, when somebody picked up a phone, there was no, consumer friendly language. It was, hi, how can I help you? Like you're already, and quite, it's not necessarily the best time when you call a law firm. It's usually you're handling with your biggest transaction, whether it's buying a house, wills, probate, or anything like that. So customers are usually a little bit scared. So, building that entire journey starts from your front end, your staff. And we did get passed on to a fee earner. Then you repeat your business again, what you need to do. And again, they're like, oh, I'm not the right person. Let me pass on to so-and-so. And at this time, we already said, our information 3 times. Not every single time was our name asked, or our telephone number in case the phone call gets disconnected, or even confirmation of the email and transaction. Again, a lot of the time when consumers are calling your firm, they're calling during their lunchtime or trying to take a break at their work. So if they have to repeat their transaction or their call of their transaction details, they want to make sure they can get information quickly. If they have to repeat it many times and they're already frustrated before they instruct you, then that's not the best experience. So always, if you haven't done so already, do a mystery shop at your own firm and see how your staff treat the clients when they're calling in. So why improve customer experience? Improving customer experience can have a positive impact to your bottom line revenue, and that's what's more important. You want to make sure the changes that you make doesn't just cost you money, but actually it has a return. It can improve conversion rates. You'll be shocked to hear that their average conversion rate in the UK for conveyancing transaction is about 30%. And that's because not many firms actually follow up, or they leave it too late. They'll follow up in 2 days or 4 days after they send out a quote. Again, few things that you can do, because that's a business that's knocking on your door. Few things that you can improve to improve your conversion rate. You can improve customer retention and satisfaction. Again, if there's bad review or bad experience, that news will travel faster and further than a good experience. So you want to make sure that you do your best for every client, and increase cross-selling and upselling. We know not all lawyers are natural salespeople, but again, building those conversation flows with your staff and training them. If somebody just moved into a brand new house, maybe give them a call or send them a card after a couple of weeks saying, congratulations, can we help you updating your wills or anything like that. Again, that's more personalized. They'll be excited to receive that card or that email, or maybe send them flowers, something like that. More personalized, and that will help you build your business and improve your customer experience. This number, I was actually shocked at to see poor customer service actually costs £37 billion per year to businesses here in the UK. What does that mean? At firms, when you look at it, at firms, big changes happen when either a partner tries to call their main line at lunchtime and they can't get through. So that's when the change happens. Or change happens when a frustrated client actually speaks to one of the senior partners and say what they're frustrated about. Then change happens. Make sure you don't wait until something happens to react on it, because then it's already too late and you're doing more damage control than actually helping improve your customer service. So get an outsider. If you're doing anything, get your friends and family members, or even get your past clients that you have good relationship with. Get them to do a mystery shop on your firm. See what do they like. What are some of the areas that they think that you can improve on. Have a bit of a lunch session with them. Get their feedback rather than you just experiencing. Because again, when you're in a working environment, you get so used to just doing things the way that you have been. Sometimes you don't even notice little things that can be improved. So you do need that outsider to come in and help you out. So IKEA, I did see quite a few people answer that question about IKEA. Thank you very much. I saw that somebody said that they like going there because it's easy, that they like the meatballs at IKEA, and the layout is the same wherever you go, and so you can always find what you're looking for. Exactly. A lot of the retail stores, as you can probably see, high street stores are closing, and Walmart even had a dip for 3 years, and they closed a couple of stores as well. And then they made a big change that IKEA was already doing. They were already in the proactive side. So if you visit any IKEA store around the world, you will get the same experience. They actually invest quite heavily into customer experience, and they have been doing that for over the last few years. And this year's alone, they opened more stores, where a lot of the other brands like Debenhams and House of Fraser, they're actually closing their stores down. IKEA is opening their stores. What's the difference? They're both retail, they both sell the same product essentially, but it's the experience that they provide. They invested quite heavily into their, how client journey takes place when you visit their store. They don't necessarily sell product down your throat. Customers make their own decision. They go walk in, they see, a couch with a cushion, then you might not even need that cushion cover, but you end up getting it because you can envision it looking good at your place. You walk in for just a few things, but you end up walking out with a full shopping cart. Again, that's their ethos. It's not, they're one of the most beloved companies in the world, but their annual revenue now reached more than $40 billion worldwide. And now other companies like Walmart, they've been catching up to, whether it's IKEA or Amazon, trying to launch their new apps that consumers can shop on, so it's more convenient. But again, they're already proactive. They're already thought of the next best thing, where there are other providers that are playing catch up. So self-serve help is the first choice for today's consumer. Why? Because we have a lot of apps that we use. Our patients are less now. We're used to things, getting answers immediately. And if we don't, then we get frustrated and we move on to the next thing. Companies should ensure that customers are able to find answers to their questions using wide variety of self-serve options. And 50% of customers, they rather solve their own issue themselves than actually have to call and ask someone. And 83% of customers go to a company's website for information, and this number is growing quite significantly. And you can probably, if you put yourself in your customer's shoes, I'm sure if you're looking for something, you Google it before you even let the question process and answer it yourself. You're always Googling. If you're traveling somewhere, you look for reviews. Where's the best restaurant that you can eat? How do you get from the airport to your Airbnb or hotel? So that type of thing. Again, you want to be able to solve that yourself. Rather, less and less people go to actually the information centers to get the information. They rather just go online and find those details themselves. And about 56% of customers, they'll leave your company or they'll go to a competitor because a website issue, because either they couldn't find a phone number, they couldn't contact you, or they couldn't find the right information that they need. Again, when you look at your website, please make sure that it's consumer friendly, that it is actually targeted to the end consumer, and they can be wide range depending on who you actually deal with. This stat is quite intriguing. There's in 2019, there were 27.8 billion more mobile searches than desktop alone. Again, make mobile customer experience your priority. You are in a B2C market. For Perfect Portal, it's B2B because a lot of our firms actually look at our website on their desktop because they are doing Workday. So if you don't have Google Analytics, please install that. It's a free tool for your website, and see where is your traffic coming from. Is it on mobile? Is it on Chrome versus Safari and all the other research providers? So again, it's a free tool to install it and take a look and see how your customers are interacting with your website. You don't need to invest too much money, just a bit of time, and then see which pages are they coming on, which pages do they visit the most. So make sure your important information is on that page. And again, a lot more customers are shopping around in the legal industry now. It's no longer you go to the same lawyer that your family's been using. You want customers like to shop around, get a couple of quotes, if not more, before choosing a lawyer, and they usually do it on their mobile devices while they're on on their breaks during work hours or on commute, because that's what we do in the UK. So this slide here, again, these are US stats, but this is what happens in an internet minute. As you can see, the Netflix hours have been increased quite significantly because they added a lot more shows and movies on there, and we spend 694,000 hours per minute watching Netflix. Again, YouTube videos, that's growing. Instant messaging, that's been growing quite quickly, and same thing with online shopping, and that happens in internet minute all over by using technology. The next one is customer experience versus price and product. Put your hand up if you recognize this product. Ring, that's on the slide here. Good, there's about quite a few actually. I didn't know about this. It was it was last week when one of my colleagues, thank you for participating. One of my colleagues, he came up to me when I was working on this. I was actually working on just IKEA, and he's like, oh, let me show you. I just downloaded. He's just finished renovating his house. Ring, and I'm like, okay. And he showed me a couple of videos that he had on there from previous when people were trying to deliver or his friends were coming over. Again, he's paying more for this product. It's all because it provides him convenience. It provides him, that control that he can have on his mobile device. He was running errands and his friend was already over, and he was able to communicate and see, saying, hey, I'll be over. Oh, the door is open, go right ahead, or control the deliveries. Again, we are used to paying more for convenience. When we had price transparency, a lot of the firms were a little bit scared that it's going to be race to the bottom, that customers are going to see prices and they're going to pick the cheapest option. That is not the case. We have had it when we look at Perfect Portal, we look at our customers' conversion rates quite closely. When a client's customer conversion rate falls down, especially the ones that I work with from marketing end, I do give them a call and say what happened. We did have firms, they actually increased their prices because they were getting so much business. Again, this happened, while a lot of the firms are having a hard time getting that business, because of uncertain market, their business is slowing down. The ones that are proactive, they're actually seeing a huge increase in their work because they can actually show that they can provide that extra value to their clients. Again, the client's still doing the same conveyancing transaction or getting a wills and probate, but they can provide them that, that they can provide information at their own convenience, that they can, send them a text message when things are done, or send them an update on their mobile apps. They don't need to worry about phoning back and forth or countless emails. Again, consumers are used to paying more for quality. So if you go extra mile for your clients, you can justify the extra fees. Look in your area, see where your business is coming from. Just because you're in Manchester doesn't mean you're only serving the clients in Manchester. Actually understand where your business is coming from and how, what are your competitors doing in that area and how you can stand out, how you can be different. At the end of the day, it's the same product, same service, but what is it that you're doing differently that provides value? And, like stated on here, this was done in consumer 2020 report, but we actually, the percentages has already grown since in 2019. We didn't really wait till 2020 that people are paying more for customer experience, and that's what they value the most. So technology is changing the legal industry, and we're not the only industry that is taking effect on. Technology actually revolutionized the finance industry over the last decade. We can't really imagine a bank or a credit card company without a mobile app to track our expenses or pay bills and do more. Did you know now traditional banks are actually, for the last few years, have been, kind of being reactive and seeing what their consumers want, because they have outsiders enter the market. So we have Monzo or TransferWise, non-traditional banks that are actually entering the finance industry and taking the market share from them. We haven't had that yet happen to the legal industry in the UK, but it is a possibility. So you need to make sure that you're always proactive and not just playing the catch-up game. And everything doesn't happen overnight, and it's not just for the small law firms. It's, we have had one of our firms in the north had a record-breaking year this year, and they actually been around for more than 200 years. And that growth just didn't happen overnight. They made a decision that they need to change back in 2016. They decided that they wanted to be more customer-centric and, invest in technology. They figured out where their target audience is, where, their most business is coming from, rather than just saying, we cover the entire UK. They actually cover that particular area, and they stick to their marketing and their brand quite closely. And this resulted in their conveyancing business growing by 55% in terms of volume of cases. And they were actually marked in land registries report saying that they outgrew the industry by quite a bit, where a lot of the other firms are seeing slow in business. Again, change is not always easy. This is why it's important that everyone at the firm, it's not just the partners, that everyone at the firm is on board, and that you do have a regular, meetings to make sure how everyone is doing, and if there's anything that you need to change. There isn't just one plan and you stick to it till the very end. Plans are made to be changed and adapt. And same thing with, customer experience. You need to understand what's happening, but willing to change as your consumers' demands change. Trust and credibility. 71% of consumers actually need to recognize the brand before they buy. They're almost most likely to come back to you if they recognize your brand elsewhere. Again, this, like I said, we all look for reviews online before making a decision. And we trust opinions of strangers over our friends and family. We want to know how one felt when dealing with your firm. If somebody actually did a review saying, I had a horrible time dealing with them, it was so frustrating to move into my new home, because again, that's an exciting process, when somebody's buying a house or selling a house, or, big transactions. So you want to make sure that you get excited with your customer, you make sure you assure them that things are happening. And if things do get delayed, just let them know. And, there are solutions like our app that you can let them know what's happening and what's going to happen. And also collect reviews. I know, again, not all lawyers are salespeople, but collect reviews, in a secure way. We do have a review function in our app where you can measure it. A lot of time we collect all of these things and data, but actually take some time off and look at that data. Maybe do it once every few months where, you have a few hour-long meeting where you involve everyone, do it off-site, and look at what's happening, look at some of the comments, some of the great things that are happening, maybe some of the things that you want to improve on. Sometimes when you get a bad review, it's not necessarily bad because, again, it gives you an opportunity to learn and grow and change. Perfect Portal, we are here to enable you deliver great customer experience every step of your client's journey. We are, a small team, quite new, and we're always adapting and innovating to make sure that our clients are always one step ahead. Again, these are some of the basic things that we do cover in end sheet, but we do have clients, the ones that are converting more are the ones that change these depending on the matter type. So it's not just, if it's a new build, they actually have pictures of the new build team on their cover and end sheet. So use the technology, but make sure you're always learning the new features to make sure you're using it to its full advantage. The emails, and again, you can have use our templated emails we send you, or if you're doing this yourself, make sure it's consumer friendly, it's exciting. Again, if somebody's buying a new property, they want to see an email that excites them, so they know that you're excited with them for their big transaction. This here, we have about 2,300 legal practitioners using Perfect Portal. We have close to 8,000 real estate agents and mortgage brokers using our referrer portal and mobile app to refer business to the law firms. Again, easier you make it for your referring partners to refer business to you, more it will. And over 300,000 quotes that were generated through the system in 2019, and over 28,000 just in the last 30 days. And if our firms use the system properly to its full potential, and again, we're always releasing new product and new features almost a monthly basis. So, if you utilize those features, over 70% of them, you will have a conversion rate of over 70%. Perfect Portal can be used as a standalone product, but you can also use it as integrated with one of our integration partners. We do have integration coming soon with Google Ads. Again, it's giving you that online presence. Make sure you can track your spending. If you're doing any ads, whether it's on Facebook, Google, then you can track that within the dashboard to see, which one has higher ROI. Increase your brand recognition and gain a competitive edge. We recently launched a branded version of the client mobile app. Again, we don't necessarily uninstall apps straight away. That gives you competitive edge. You're there, you're present on your client's mobile device. And if you're done, that transaction with them, you can send a message after a couple of weeks saying, how is your move? I hope you're doing, great. Can we help you with anything else? Can you refer a friend that can use our service? And again, it's one of those things that will always be continually being proactive and innovate for you, so we can help you provide that great experience from beginning when they get a quote to the end when they complete their transaction. Again, when it comes to customer experience, ditch legacy and go digital, but it doesn't just stop there. You always need to continue, being proactive, look at the changing behaviors, what's happening in the industry, and continue evolving. Thank you. That's it from my presentation. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A tab at the very top or at the bottom of your screen, and I will do my best to answer all those questions. Any questions? I see hands raised. Would you, can you type your question in the Q&A slot, please? Hi, Maria, do you have a question? Ruth, we can send you more details about the client mobile app. Again, we have an unbranded version that's part of the package, but we also have a one version available that's, we can brand it with all your firm's branding. For conveyancing services, no, you can use it outside of conveyancing. Again, our main bread and butter is conveyancing, as that's what the product started as, but we have some firms using it for wills and probate, family, and criminal law, which we can show you. And for the app side of things, you can use it for any matter type to communicate the main key stages. You just build the key stages within the platform. Let me see. Any other questions? That's all I see here. Luke, do you have a question? I see your hand up. There. All right, well, thank you very much, everyone. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to, yes. We will send you information on wills and probate. I will get your account manager to send you details. Thank you so much. And are there any other questions? And again, we released quite a few new features recently. So if you are using us, please make sure that you're getting our emails. We'll be sending another email later this week about some of the new features we just launched. Perfect. And that is coming your way soon. Thank you so much. Any chat? Thank you, Jess. I'm glad you enjoyed the webinar. Any other questions before? And if you had trouble seeing the slides, we will be sending the recording shortly to everyone who's in this webinar. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your lunch. Bye-bye.